Folks, I don't know how to describe how I'm feeling other than I'm not happy. I'm actually rather upset. But before I get into why that is, let's get to my high and my act of kindness. As you can imagine, you can guess what my low is going to be. My low is why I'm upset. So, I wish it was because I have a tickle in my throat and coughing, but no, I wish it was just that. So last night, I got to see my folks, and that was my high. I got to be with them for a little while on their anniversary, because as of yesterday, they were married for 38 years. And my mother was working, and she didn't get back home until like almost 8 o'clock. But, my act of kindness was, I hung out with my dad. I mean, I was gonna hang out with my dad anyway. Sort of like a guy's night in. But in this instance, it was his anniversary. I was not gonna have him be alone on his anniversary, even if my mom was gonna be back home eventually. It just wouldn't be right. Plus, my mom is off today. We're gonna celebrate their wedding anniversary with gusto. And I'm really excited for that. And I'm really hoping that picks me up right now because, again, I'm not happy. So, you want to know what my low is? It's that Horseheads lost last night. And it's not like they lost in devastating fashion either. But I can make an argument that the way that a football team loses, is among the worst that can happen. Where you have a rather comfortable, near insurmountable lead with a very short time period to go, only for your opposing team to come back and win. Horseheads was beating Owego 20-10 with 4 minutes to go. And Owego wound up coming back winning 23-20. Now understand, going into this game, Owego was 1 win and 6 losses. And Horseheads, going into that game, had the complete inverse of that, with 6 wins and 1 loss. And that 1 loss was to the number 1 team, albeit from a smaller school, in all of New York State and Maine Enwell. So really, there was no shame in losing to that team. But when you have an insurmountable lead of 10 or more points with that short time period to go, and you lose like that, that is borderline unforgivable. Don't get it twisted. I'm still going to give out a Blue Hammer award. I'll do that tomorrow when I read more of the actual player stats. But I can tell you right now, the head coach at Horseheads is livid. And I'm putting that, and that's being generous. Because that's the sort of thing that should never happen. Especially against a team you have no business losing to. Sorry, you're going to hear my throat being cleared a lot lately, sorry. So, I guess in order to cheer myself up and to sort of get some things off my chest, I think I should go a little bit more into, my overall, my time playing football at Horseheads. Now, I said before, I'll say it again, I was absolutely terrible. Like, in the beginning, actually, I should go back. Years ago, I did, small fry, or what people refer to as peewee football. And, I liked it, and I did it all the way till 8th grade, which when you get to 9th grade, you get to play for, your high school, which I was really excited for. And it was a completely different animal. My freshman year completely shocked me. The guys were all bigger than I was, and faster, and stronger, and meaner than I could ever hope to be. And it wound up really affecting me, because that entire summer after my freshman year, after I had done my first year of football, my first year of wrestling, and my first year of track, I'm thinking, okay, I gotta step my game up. That entire summer, I worked out twice a day, trying to lose weight any way I could, hopefully trying to change the position, because here's the thing, if I was gonna be good, I didn't want to be a lineman. And it kind of goes with the fact that even back then, I kind of had some body conscious related issues, but I did not want to be a lineman. And it wound up really affecting me, because nobody forgot how bad I was freshman year. So my sophomore year, I got cut. Even though, it kind of devastated me. And fun fact, the head coach of Horseheads now was one of the assistant coaches who cut me all that time ago. Funny how life turns around like that, huh? Anyway. So my sophomore year, I just went through the motions. Sophomore year was easily my worst year at Horseheads. Not even close. Seriously, it was night and day. Freshman year, it wasn't really. I mentioned before, my time at Horseheads really was horrible. But it's not like there weren't any good moments. Freshman year, I actually had a pretty fair number of moments. Sophomore year, barely had any, if at all. Literally sophomore year might as well have been called my Murphy's Law year. Because in terms of everything, in terms of sports, getting cut from the football team, not making varsity wrestling because literally a guy from nowhere showed up and took my spot, stuff like that. Everything that went wrong did. Which made things worse which, looking back, and it really did kind of affect how later I would contemplate suicide. But that's neither here nor there. So, when Horseheads came out with something called conditioning camp, which is something that, if you want to do fall sports or sports in general, go and do it. I did it. And I was surrounded by some friends who really did root. And here's the thing. It's not during that summer before my sophomore year, as I was training, twice a day, running X number of miles, going to the weight room as often as a person physically could, it's not like people didn't notice. In fact, a lot of people were legit rooting for me. And it showed, because my junior year, I actually made varsity. And as soon as I walked out, everybody cheered. Sorry. And even though I made the team, I still really wasn't that good. It never occurred to me that I could anticipate the snap of the ball. There were guys who were still bigger and faster and stronger and meaner than I was. And it always frustrated me how there were times where these players who, especially the ones that were really kind of mean to me, that are supposed to be better than me, they're losing in just spectacular fashion. either we would lose outright or, we'd lose games that we had no business of losing. After we lost the sectional title to Union Endicott my junior year, I'll never forget what the head coach said to us. His exact words were, and I quote, "If you want to win the damn thing, go to the weight room or do a sport during the off season." Now, I was already doing, wrestling and track, in the off season. I was doing everything I could to keep up my competitive edge. But after I heard that speech, I did everything I could to be like, you know what? We lost in the sectional title game. I want to go back. So I worked my butt off all throughout the offseason to no avail. By that point, everybody was fed up with me trying to become anything remotely decent. I couldn't even sniff the field. I made the team, but I was at the bottom of the barrel. Meanwhile, some of the returning veterans who were in my class senior year, who did start last year, especially the linemen, would wind up resting on their laurels, either putting on a lot of unnecessary weight, which really showed for some, and just being outright terrible. We didn't even come close to getting to the sectional title my senior year. And I guess to this day, it kind of always haunts me that if I had been out there, I could have made a difference. Well, I'd like to believe that anyway. But we'll never know. If any Horseheads alumni first of all, if any Horseheads alumni are watching this, and if you knew me back then, yeah, I probably just brought back some memories for you. Good and bad, probably. If you're a player who's watching this, or just an outright student who's an athlete watching this, don't make the same mistakes I did. If you want to be a champion, you got to do all you can. And when you do what you think you can and it's still not enough, you got to do what's required. Unfortunately for me, I didn't know what was required. But that's on me. I probably could have done more in terms of asking for help. But I didn't. I was young and stupid. I guess it's kind of cathartic me talking about this. So, to the Horseheads football team, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not mad. Again, I'm really just upset by the absurdity of it all. But you guys, I'm not mad. I mean, you scored 20 points, and you were winning with 4 minutes to go. You don't get to that point out of nothing. So something clearly went wrong near the end. So I'm not even disappointed either. Again, you scored like 20 points. You clearly had what was supposed to be an insurmountable lead at the end. Why be upset by that? Besides, by all accounts, technically I'm an alumni from Horseheads, but technically I'm still just a random stranger who an outsider would think, what is this guy talking about? So, I pray that what happened last night, you guys learned from. Because going forward, winning is going to be all that much harder. Whoever you face in the sectional final game, probably Union Endicott again, whatever Owego did to you guys, Union Endicott is going to absolutely capitalize on. And let's say that you do beat Union Endicott and you do win the Section 4 title, which would probably be the first time you've ever won since like the 90s. winning will still get all that much harder. And any mistake you make, those teams out in the Syracuse area, the Rochester area, the New York City area, Long Island area, everywhere in New York State, they will capitalize on your mistakes. And they will walk away the champion from it. They will walk away the bigger, faster, and stronger team because of it. They will prove that they were better than you, and they knew it. You absolutely cannot falter. Okay? So you know what? Today is a new day. From now on, you know what? I think I know what I'm going to add to this title. You'll see in the title, don't worry. But don't worry, I'm going to do a Blue Hammer War tomorrow, don't worry. This is 7-1, we've been a lot sweeter than 6-2. And it still does kind of bother me that, you had players that were better than me and they didn't really amount much to anything. It makes me wonder, what I could have done. But don't make the mistakes I made. You have 2 weeks to prepare for your sectional title game, I think. Hopefully you actually are able to have the bye because, you did beat Union Endicott and Vestal. But who knows? You have, 2 weeks to prepare for that sectional title. So please heed these words. Make good choices. Help each other out and be there for each other if you need help. Please go ask your coaches for help because that's their job. Their coaches are supposed to help you if you have questions. Do that. Don't make the mistakes that I made. Be better. I know you guys can be better. I've been singing your praises all season. And you know what? I said this before, I'll say it again. Against schools like Union Endicott or like the Syracuse area or any team you face going forward, the only way you're going to beat them is by moving your feet forward. Because the only way to get across that finish line and reach that sectional title and maybe even the state title is to go forward. Hashtag finish this fight. Like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social platforms, notification YouTube. I'm very hungry this video for all of you guys to watch. Enjoy for today. Hopefully a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And remember, if you guys want to talk channels, we're here to let you know. I'll be back. Take care. And you should make good choices too. See ya.